and welcome back. We're going to start our quarter-final very shortly between Steve Singh and Martin Hazell. You're just watching at the moment the deciding frame. It's 8-all and it's Dylan Leary versus Nathan Beavers, and this is for the match. So we thought we'd just watch another, even though it's got Steve Singh and Martin Hazell on. And it looks like Dylan may have made his last shot. It's all there for his opponent now, and Nathan's not to be underestimated. Nathan's a very good player. They're all very good. Dylan would have been, if there were a bouquet, would have been odds-on favourite really, but Nathan's a very decent player. So all he needs is position on his last ball, which you would imagine it's impossible not to get it, not to go in off. And there you go. It looks pretty darn easy. So he's going to go cushion first, I should imagine, left-hand cushion, or maybe straight back, one of the two. Not hard, whichever way he decides. He's a bit underrated, but he's perfect. He's alright. No problems. And then we're going to start the... I've got a fantastic commentator in Keith Brewer, because he's available. He's been generous enough to say he's going to do it for us. So we've got a fantastic commentator, and Nathan Beaver goes through. So there you go.
everybody. We've got the quarterfinals of the Savanna Masters. Steve Singh, Martin Hazell. Very good lineup in the quarterfinal stages. And Steve's coming into this off a very good win against Tommy Donlan. And Martin has defeated Dave Shand in the last 16 matches. It was double elimination and then down to the last 16 stage, and then it gets kind of redrawn. So they've only played one match this morning. This is the second game.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have a quarter-final match here at the Savanna Masters. This is a senior event, 50 and overs. And we've got Steve Singh and Martin Hazell here in the quarterfinals. This is a first to 9 at World Rules. Both players have already played a match this morning. Last 16, it was double elimination down to the last 16. Steve was at the table, has already had one fantastic win in his last 16 match today, beating Tommy Donlan. So I'm sure he'll be feeling in a confident mood for this match. He's had a little bit of a wait in between games, but we're all used to that. We've still got one last 16 match in progress at the moment. So Martin's already had one attempt at the table. He's chipped the yellow over the pocket, obviously meaning to pot it, but left it over the middle, and has presented Steve with this opportunity in the frame. As I said, it is the first frame in a race to 9, but it's always nice to get off to a good start. I always think that's important in these matches. Ooh, a little bit of a careless one from Steve. What he was trying to do there was just push the white through because he wanted the right angle on the red that's next to the black.
What am I supposed to do?
Steve's in prime position now. He'll be feeling that it's important for him to take the frame from this position, really. The two reds down by the black are obviously going to be his last two if he can go that particular way, but it doesn't look like he is. That's pretty good, that'll do. So when he pots this, red needs to get the cue ball down to the two reds, right down the table. Okay, so here we go. And that's just about where you want it to be. So that's the first frame to Steve Singh. So Steve in a strong position in frame two. Could have probably had a go there if he'd wished, but he was always going to struggle to get on the red that's on the cushion, so played a very good safety shot there. But even though Martin's got back to the table, it's still a challenging finish, shall we say. Bit of work to do. now Martin's got himself into this position, he's actually got a realistic chance to get this. Obviously taking the ball down the rail, getting the white. He'd like that cue ball to go a little bit further. I don't know if it's just my imagination that this table just seemed a little bit slower than the others. I know we haven't seen all the others on here, but I think this one's a little bit slower. So it's just a matter of getting the pace of the table with your shots. I think the cloth's a little bit thicker, and if you look, you can actually see some finger marks, which are quite prominent, really. And I think that is probably due to the fact that the cloth is a little bit thicker here. I think that's one of the problems that we have as pool players, travelling around club to club, pub to pub. You know, differing conditions with tables, obviously cushions, cloth, the actual table itself, standard of the table, etc., etc. I'm sure we've all been in pubs and clubs where you've had to play a match and the table hasn't been up to scratch. Well, of course, we come to all these tournaments these days and we're spoilt, really. Back in my day, it wasn't really like this. We've had to play on some horrendous tables. But these days are all pretty good. Like I said, it isn't a criticism really if the cloth's a little bit thicker and a little bit slow. It's just a matter of adjusting to it, really. And Martin's played a very good finish here so far. So we've got a key shot coming up. He's left a nice angle on this yellow, so obviously going to try and get behind the black. Well, here we go. And that's pretty good. So this has been a good response, really, from Steve, sticking the red over the pocket. It's been a very good finish. So it's one frame all in this quarter final. Last 16 matches were on at 10 o'clock this morning, and one of the games is still in play. One of the last 16 games is still in play as we speak. And two of the quarterfinals have commenced. In fact, I'm just looking round three. The other three quarterfinals have now commenced. I'll try and keep you up with some of the scores as we go along. Okay, so away we go in frame number 3, and that's a very nice opening break. There's a little bit of work to be done on each colour, so Steve, I think, is just trying to work out which is the best suit to have a go at, which affords the best opportunity to run the table. I have to say, I think reds look quite nice. You take the right hand middle, then the one up the rail, and then you've got the opposite middle, and then that seems to be the best looking set for me. Whether Steve sees something else there, I'm not sure. It's just what he's actually doing is mapping out his whole finish here. unfortunately we can't hear any nomination, so we won't really know what he's going for until he plays his opening shot. He is having a proper think about this one. Okay, so here we go. So it looks like he's playing yellows here then. I was a little bit surprised at that. I actually thought the reds looked quite nice. But he'd obviously worked everything out and decided that was the way to go. Well, so even after 2 shots now he's out of position. He's still got a pot on, can still chip this one back in the middle, but he's not where he wanted to be. And what's happening when you haven't got the cue ball under perfect control, you know, you're letting the cue ball loose really. The white's loose, and at the moment he's potting balls and he's cannoning into his opponent's balls and stuff like that, and he's not got the white on a string like he'd like to. And really it is all going to be about this yellow up the cushion. Ultimately that's what the finish will all be about, if he can get on that. He's decided it's going to be now. He's probably thinking there's no easy enough pot to get on it, so take it now. And that's very played it with authority. He hasn't like just rolled it up the cushion like sometimes we have to, because of course you want the pocket. You're thinking, well, you know, if the next option is to have the pocket instead, then you roll the ball. There he didn't need the pocket, so he's played it with authority, and it leaves him on the choice of 2 yellows by the looks of it. He can chip this one back in the middle, or he's got the one in the corner. With the pocket he can see through to that one. Anyway, that's the way he's going. That's the way I think I would go as well. But I wouldn't have done this. I'm not sure why he's hit it that hard, but this one does still chip back. For me there, all you had to do was stun that in, because then he had the yellow back in the middle to get back on the other yellow. Anyway, we all see things differently. That's what makes the game more interesting. And there you are, he's overcut that, or I should say undercut that. I'm presuming that last yellow would have gone past the black in the middle as well. So there's a chance for Martin he didn't expect. So this is the way I would have gone. See, when you play this one in the middle, you're automatically on the one up the cushion. I know it's different now because obviously Martin's got no traffic in the way, but I just thought after the break, I just thought Reds looks slightly better. I thought he had, you know, his first 3 pots were pretty simple. So about a basic run out here really. Steve's let him in. So this is frame 4. Martin to break, leading by 2 frames to 1. Not a very good break, to be honest. The pack has stayed pretty much together there. Now whether one of the balls wasn't touching properly on the rack. I'm not sure, but they didn't split very well. So when this kind of a break happens, which it does, it's important to get on the right suit. This is what it's all about now. So let's have a quick look. 6 yellows, 6 reds. He's got one of each on the break as well. So whatever he nominates now, he will be on. So this gives him a good chance to take control of the table somewhat. So I'm thinking he's probably going to take the reds here. As I said, we can't hear the nomination, and we are, and he's still going to attack, taking the reds. See, a lot of players there will have nominated red and then rolled that one over the pocket. And I'm pretty sure he is just trying to put this red over the pocket. Yep, that's what he's doing. Not only that, of course, he's left the cue ball in such a way that Steve has limited options on his next shot. It's not too bad. As I said, Steve was limited to what he could actually do there. This is where the finer arts of the game come in, trying to stop your opponent playing the shots they want to play. And that's what they're basically doing at the moment. There's a little bit of jockeying going on here for position. Can Steve get this yellow in front of the red, right on pocket? The red doesn't look like it's all the way over the pocket. Got to be a little bit careful though. But certainly if you could get the yellow in front, it would be a good shot. Doesn't seem to have a lot else on that I can see. If that shot's not on, of course, he could roll the yellow into the middle, left hand side, then put the yellow over the pocket. Bottom left as we look. So there's a couple of options there. Yeah, just played the shot well. If that shot was on like it is, I would have played that a bit earlier than that. I suppose he was just weighing things up a little bit. That seemed the obvious shot straight away. And what's Martin thinking of doing here? Is he just knocking the red out? Might just be knocking this out. No, he's played the deliberate foul, but tried to get the cue ball down the table. He hasn't really done that part right. So no too much harm done, but Steve with 2 shots, well, he'll try and cover this bottom pocket probably. Or will he attack? He may even decide to attack here. Yes, he has. So he's carrying the 2 visits. The black looks like it will pass the red, so it isn't actually come out that bad for him. Yeah, good positional shot needed here. It's just showing you where he wants the cue ball roughly, and that's not too bad. Took a bit of a risk there, just wanted to bring his bad yellow into play. Not really sure 100% where it was going to go. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Now if he's come absolutely straight on this yellow, he's got a bit of work on. Remembering when he comes up, see this yellow coming up this side of the table hasn't helped him. he could have stayed. He wanted that yellow to stay in the middle of the table. Really helps his finish. Helps him get on the black better. At some point now, he's got to bring the white all the way down table to pot that and get back up for the black. And the black is tight into the pocket. Nope, that's not what he wanted. All that has stemmed. This is probably a total snooker, by the way, so he's only got to hit the yellow here. That's a good shot, very good shot from there. All that stemmed from really he had the safe yellow, and he's took a bit of a risk the way he's played it, because he's just hit it quite hard, thinking, well, I'm bound to be on the yellow here, and although he didn't come out ideally, did he? So Martin, total snooker, just has to hit the ball. Yeah, Steve's done himself in here, I have to say. Reds are in a very strong position. Whether somehow we can pot the long yellow and try and get the white back down table, which obviously is a difficult shot. Yeah, if he could get the white down there somewhere, that would be perfect. But let's face it, you've got to hit this ball so hard now to get the white down there. Well, the first part was wrong, the second part would have been perfect, and now Reds are left with an easy finish. So this to go 3-1 up. Well, when he's had the balls there, Martin hasn't really put a foot wrong. All the finishes have been good, as in he's got the cue ball under perfect control. So that's 3-1 for Martin. bit more power into that break. Steve realising has to get his act together, let one or two frames slip through his fingers. Ball on the break though, that's the first objective. Both sets have split pretty well. So it looks like yellow's in play. I suppose Steve could have done with that red moving away from the middle there. He's potted the yellow off the red. So these two yellows in the middle of the table would pot into the middle. I'm not sure that they do. It's hard to tell from this angle. Very good pot though. Tried to develop the two yellows in the same shot. It looks like it has been successful with that. I think that the yellow will pass the black into the corner pocket. So that's a pretty good result there for Steve. Apart from the fact where the white's probably finished. Probably could have done with that finishing away from the red a little bit. Well, you can cue through, that's fine. Now I'm presuming that he meant to come all the way up the table here with the cue ball. So he could play the yellow onto yellow, the plant shot. May decide not to do that now. Now he's fallen quite a way short of that. So he's looking at now playing this one in the middle. Now if you're going to play it off the red, you've got to be careful, you don't know where the red's going to go. That's the only problem here. He could still play the combination shot really. I know it's like a cut and the white's coming back up and down the table, but these two yellows in the middle of the table really want to be your last two yellows before the black. What he's looking at doing now is playing the yellow off the red, stunning the white for position, but you don't know where the red's going. He's just got away with it, yep. I think he's okay. May have stunned the white back too far here. Yeah, he's played that very well though. Made a nice angle there. So now we're back to the combination shot that I said before. Still got a bit of a cut on it, but at least he can control the cue ball somewhat. So he won't be playing this too hard, just with enough pace. Oh well, my mistake. He's actually played it quite hard, in fact too hard. Should have played that shot a lot slower, with bottom left drag on the cue ball just to hold it in position. He's let the white run again, and every time he's done that, he's ended up making a mistake. I'm not sure how much you'll need to bend this to make this shot. Well, that's pretty good really. That is actually pretty good. He's gone cushion first and cut it in, but the white, he's had a result really, because the white's come down, kissed the red, and he's got a shot at the black that I didn't think he was going to have. Well, he was teasing us there, wasn't he, with that shot? But good black. He nearly overcut it slightly. It's always hard when you cut him back into a blind pocket. But he needed that frame, and we're back at 3-2. Steve's got first go in this frame. Sure to be feeling a bit better after getting the last frame under his belt. Once again, see, played like a little cannon shot, lost the cue ball somewhat. He's still got pots on, but not where he wanted to be. Well, he's either hit the wrong ball or hit the first ball all wrong. It's one or the other. But what it does do is bring Martin to the table. So red's to play, and it's all about, does that red pass the yellow? He's already had a quick look at it. It does look awfully tight. That if it goes, he'll fancy the finish right now. If it doesn't go, he's either got to get on it to the middle or to the top pocket, or he's got to try and play some kind of a developing shot. Well, he's looking at the two reds that are together there, because that's probably one of his main problems. When you've got two balls close together, even though they pot, you've still got to get on them in such a way that you can remove one of them, so it opens up the other one. No, not sure if he's played to be there, to be honest. Still reds available, just not ideal position. So needs to get that cue ball back in position. He's tried to develop the awkward red with that shot and actually got too much onto it. I think the white's probably finished in an awkward situation for him here. I'm not sure what pots are on and what not pots are on, so even if that red doesn't go into the corner, which he keeps looking at, he's looking at it again, even if you can get the pocket, it might not be too bad. Cut it slightly wide, get the pace right. That's right, if you get the cue ball over there where his hand is, you're not really leaving your opponent anything to go at, and you've got the pocket. So I think that's probably what he's playing. Okay, so that's pretty good really. He's got the cue ball over there, so he hasn't left his opponent anything easy. He has left him one shot, but of course the yellow that he has left him, which is the one next to the red, is he wouldn't be too worried if he moved that one for him. So that's probably not the shot to go for. But what other options have you got? So he is playing that yellow. The only problem is here you're helping your opponent out. See, and he's not even close with that. Now you have left your reds right in where they want to be. It's left him a choice of shots. He keeps looking at the one down to the bottom right. I think what it is, he's not straight in on that shot. If he was, then he could just roll through and then play the combination. So he can't do that. So he's coming back up the table and going to get, because this is probably the most awkward one, and I'm really not sure what he did there. I can only imagine by that shot that he couldn't see the actual potting angle, so he was putting side on it. He's basically trying to bend the cue ball round slightly to make the potting angle, and has mishit it somewhat. So Steve has got a chance to not necessarily clear up, but at least he can do something and try and make it awkward for his opponent. But again, he's not played a very good shot there either. He's underhit that, or overhit that, depends on what way you want to look at it. He's putting in a couple of unforced errors. He obviously weren't doing that in the last match. Now has he hit a cushion? Yes, just. The yellow just hit the cushion. Otherwise that would have been 2 shots away. Was nowhere near with the combination shot. At the moment there's a few shots being played, and every time they seem to be missing, they're never leaving the cue ball in an ideal position. It always seems to be a bit tricky. So that's not too bad. He could have done with a little bit more angle here, because then you could just naturally run it in and come down for the 2 reds, because they're obviously all going to go back into this same pocket. Now is he trying to make this angle? Yep, that's pretty good. That's the first part done. He's got the white ball just about right here, because he needs to play the combination shot here, and just screw the white back for the other yellow, which will go in the same pocket. So let's just see, he might not play a perfect plant, he just might cut the angle slightly. Oh no, he's done okay, that's alright. He was better on it than what we thought. Would have preferred the red to sit in the pocket, to be quite honest. It made positional easier. So yeah, he's not played a very good shot there. So if they've had the ball over the pocket, then you're just playing 1-on-1, then pop the 1 over the pocket, you're on the black. That's actually, from where he was a poor effort. But he's still got a shot at the black, just not ideal. No, long way out. This is where you realise how important your positional shots are all the way through. Even the simple ones earlier on, pay attention to them. Always try and get your cue ball in the right place. Right, Steve can attack here, or he can just play the snooker. Just roll up to this yellow, like that. Got the instant snooker. Suppose that makes a bit more sense. The only thing, of course, is it leaves Martin a chance to really try and fluke the black. There's no safety option, so you may as well just lever it. Okay, now then. Well, if the yellow weren't near the pocket, the black would have been in. But now the yellows are just how Steve wants them. You can't see all the pocket when he's playing this yellow. That's why he's having a good look to see how much of the pocket he can actually see. I still think it's the right way to go, yep, and he's still doing it. Yes, he's fine. I think I'd have a bit more up the table there. Right, well for me now he's going the wrong way. I just think he's gone the wrong way around this finish. He's still going to get away with it. He's still okay if he screws back straight. Too far. Left a bit of a cut. Should get it, but it's missable. And there you go. It's missable. It's as simple as that. He's got 4 easy yellows and a black, and really you want to be on the cushion with the black, so you're just rolling it in. You can't miss it. And all that's happened there is he's not paid enough attention to his finish, and he hasn't got the white in the right place for the black, and that's really what the finish was all about, getting the cue ball in perfect position for the black ball, which was on the cushion. It might only have been 8-10 inches from the pocket, but of course if you leave a cut, it's missable, and that's what's happened. So that was a bit of a careless clearance, shall we say, at the end. And then this is what happens. You do that, and then you have a dry break. Okay, as I mentioned here before, we have got some other quarter-final action going on, so just to let you know, it's Lee Walker 3, Graham Whitten 2. We've got Chris Hatton 3, Andy Lucas 3, and then Ian Davenport and Nathan Beavers have just kicked off, so there's his 0-0 at the moment. So just got you, that's your updates on the other matches. But in this match here, which is a little bit of everything going on, 4-2 for Martin Hazell. No, what a key miss that is. No, it hasn't happened. So Steve gets back to the table. So eventually Steve's decided on his course of action. I wasn't sure really what he was going to be looking at first, but he's obviously got some kind of a plan. Yellow's still in a fantastic position in the frame. It seems to me there's an opportunity there to play the red onto the yellow and try and get the red over the pocket where the black is. That seems to me to be what you need to do. That's what he's trying to do now, get the cue ball down. That's what we're going to be playing next. Red onto the yellow over the pocket, leave the red in front of the black. That's the ideal shot. Needs to get the pocket though, he needs it to finish in front of the black. Oh, he hasn't really. He has and he hasn't in the same shot. It's not too bad, but ideally they would have preferred it with the red in front of the black. There may be a gap there. So Martin has got the 2 visits, but in that situation, yes, Steve had to play that shot, and I did think that was the ideal red to play onto the yellow. Of course, when you've got the 2 shots, it does give you opportunity to do something. I suppose ideally you need to keep your 2 visits to the black here. Of course, that yellow near the black is going to be the problem ball. If he can keep his 2 to the black, he's got a chance, but it's not going to be easy from there. See, there is another option there, because if he can knock the yellow that's near to the black cluster over the pocket, if he can just get that to the back cushion. I'm not saying he should do this. Let's have a look what he's doing. Oh, he's just okay. Right, not really with that one. If he'd have got that to the back cushion, and then later on he can pot a yellow, and then he can play that yellow onto the red over the pocket in front of the black and try and get the pocket back. I think I'd have been looking at doing something like that. But now that he's got that yellow there, the one he's just played, what he could actually do is just roll this yellow in the middle, and he could really just pot the red that's over the pocket. Just play a tactical DF. I don't think he's leaving any red potable on the up the top end of the table, so that is an option. Whether that's what he's thinking about playing, I'm not sure, but it is definitely an option, because obviously the red that's by the black then is trapped. So he is playing that, yeah, that's what he's decided to do, just play this up the table. I don't think I'd have done that. I think I'd have just stunned in and left it there, but maybe he can see the red through the gap, black and yellow, you never know. So yes, reds are trapped here somewhat. So what Steve needs to do is try and get a red down table near the cushion where the black is. I'm not sure how he's going to do that from here, but really that's what he needs to do. I suppose what he could do is he could pot one of these reds, possibly the one that he's very close to with the cue ball at the moment, try and get the white in a position where he can move a ball down table, and well, that's a very careless miss. See, that's what he's trying to do, get a ball down the table now. No, and he's done that wrong as well. He's trying to get a full ball contact there, trying to get the ball down the table. Hasn't happened. Now Martin may just decide to bring this yellow into play. He can leave it there if he wants, but he may just think, because of where he's left the cue ball here, he may try and put this in front of the black. Not in front of it as such, but next to the black, so it pots into the corner pocket. I'm sure that's what he's looking at doing. In fact, it may be even coming off the cush first to just develop this yellow. Not so sure I'd do that. No, he's just done the right shot there. Just bring the yellow into play by the pocket. Of course, that yellow now helps you move the red by the black as well, so it's a good shot. That's the shot I'd have played. Steve's got a few options, and one of the options he has got is just to roll that yellow in, leave the cue ball there and take a chance that he doesn't finish. And I think that's what he's doing. I don't think he needed to put the side on and bring the white ball there. I think I'd have just been leaving the cue ball flush on the back cushion, because cueing off the cushion makes the shot harder, obviously, straight away. He has got an option here, Martin, if you can play this yellow like cush red, cushion first off the red. That's the shot for me. No, he's gone in between them. Off the cush, off the red. If it goes in, your two visits carry. It's just an option. So he's bringing the yellow down the table because he needs a yellow down there so he can disturb the black at some point. He was very quick playing that shot. I'm not so sure it is the best shot, but he's not put Martin under any pressure really. I mean, he could try and disturb the black now. He could play the yellow half ball, try and disturb the black in the red. But for me, just glance off it and put the yellow over the pocket where the black is. He's got this pocket sewn up table. I can't see that he's under any pressure to do anything else. Doesn't need to have a lash at any ball. I think he may have just run off to get a rest. Actually, I think it was just a comfort break, and Martin's popped back in the room now. So, just to remind you, he's got 2 visits on yellows. You can attack or you can just cover the pocket. For me, I'd just be glancing off this and covering the pocket. Yeah, and that's what he's going to be doing. I think that's probably the right shot. Well, he took a bit of a chance. He didn't have to do that. He's played it off obviously set it up, played it off the ball. Needed to get the white over so he could see this yellow. I think he can still see it, but maybe just a thin edge. Oh, and it's just touched the red first. Just touched the red first there. So it's a foul. So Steve's got 2 shots. Still got quite a bit to do. I would think I would leave the red by the yellow for now. Yeah, that's quite right. Now he's got a few options. He can just bring this red into play and cut it down the cushion. That's it. Let's just put the yellow there in front of the black. The red, sorry, in front of the black. Martin's in a fair bit of trouble. Now what does he do? Can't really play at the yellow. I wouldn't have thought. You could try putting the black over the pocket here in front of the red. That might not be a bad shot. Don't pot the black though. You wouldn't want to be doing that. There you go. That's quite a good shot. So that means that Steve's got to bring that red out into the table at some point. If you're going to come off the rail now, you've got to be very careful to get the right amount of side on it. If you don't hit the red right, you could cut the black in. Not really much of a shot there. No real game plan with that shot for me. So Martin was in a lot of trouble at one point. Has got his way back into this frame. I suppose the only thing that when Steve had the 2 visits and he elected to play the ball down the cushion, he needed to get the red into the pocket itself, and he didn't, and then left Martin the opportunity to put the black in front of the red, and that's changed the game back round. I'm not so sure he's going to pot this ball. He may just be laying up to this, so he's actually doubling it back down the table, but I suppose you're always a little bit frightened to hit him too hard. You don't want to be potting the black. And then there must be a gap underneath the black then, because the way he's played that red, there must be a gap there. So he's just going to lay it in there to gap now. Yeah, there is a gap, I think. If the red pots through past the black, he may just decide to pot this red. He could also play the red onto the black and try and get the black over the pocket a bit more. I think that's what he's tried to do with that shot. I'm not so sure he's pushed it much further. It's always you're always a bit tentative with them shots, I think, because you don't want to obviously hit it too hard. So Steve now's got 2 visits. Can try and just push these balls into the position that he wants, and that's all that's going to be going on, I think, for the next couple of shots. Well, maybe not. This is a bit of a surprise. Steve thought it was worth just getting all them balls out of that corner. I'm just wondering if there is a gap where the yellow is. Is there a gap there? Yeah, and he's felt absolutely perfect if there is. Nope, obviously there isn't. It looked for a minute, maybe they're just, I mean there is a gap, but maybe not big enough to pot the red past it. The only thing I would say is here, has he left Martin this yellow? Can he come cush first? It's a bit careless if he's done that. There is definitely quite a bit of room there. I think Steve may have missed this. I think Martin can get through. No, he's definitely hit the red first there. It was tight. It was tight, but I did think there was some room. So Steve with 2 visits would be very happy with this. Okay, so he did have 2 shots on a simple black. Martin's given him the frame. So it's 4-3. So this is frame number 8. Martin Hazell to break, leading 4 frames to 3. This is the Savanna Senior Masters event, which is a 50 and over tournament, and this is the quarter-final stages. All the quarter-finals are in play. Well, the yellows are nicely placed, I guess. It'll all be really about that black on the cushion. That looks to be about right for me where he is. That to be pretty much straight on the next ball, which will be the opposite middle. Pretty much straight, yes, that's about right. So now this gives him the chance to get the cue ball exactly where he wants. So he can pot the last red, leaves a little angle, pot the last yellow rather, and be on the black. So you want to be, as I explained a couple of frames ago, you want to try and be flush on the cushion with the black. You don't want to be cutting it if you can help it. That's it, it's perfect. So I don't think you'll be missing this one. Good clearance. 5-3. Well, I think Steve put a bit more into that break, and of course when you do that you do lose control, and unfortunately the white has found its way into a pocket. And on first sight you would say the reds are nice, because he's got two virtually free yellows on the cushions, so all the reds are nicely in the open. So it's anywhere behind the baulk line one visit, which is a foul from the break at World Rules. He'll just be working out now which way to attack this clearance. And this is a good opportunity to put some good daylight now in the scores. 6-3 would be a nice lead. Remember, it is a race to 9, so it's still quite a long way to go. But it's if you can get 2 or 3 frames in front, it's always nice in these matches. Got to make us the most of these type of opportunities. Well, this positional shot's got to be good to carry on the clearance. And I don't think that is A1, I'm afraid. It's still okay, still got a pot on. It's not the ball that he wanted. He wanted to be the one that's kind of near the blue spot. I'm not so sure he can go for that one now, so he's going to have to go for this other one. Like I said, it's not the end of the world. He's still in a decent position. One good shot here should do it. That's pretty good. Just a little stop shot. Probably just stunned this white back an inch or two, I would have thought. He'll believe in himself a cut black, but that's probably going to be good enough for where he is. So this is for a 6-3 lead in this match. Nicely played. Another good finish. In one of our other quarterfinals, Lee Walker has increased his lead now to 6-4. That's 6-4 for Lee Walker over Graham Whitten. Okay, in our other matches, we've got Chris Hatton leading Andy Lucas by 5 frames to 4. And in the Ian Davenport Nathan Beavers match, it is 1-0 for Beavers at the moment. They've had a nice tight opening frame, and now they're playing a nice tight second frame. So that brings you up to date with scores in our other matches, but on our match table, Martin leads this one 6-3. Steve at the table with the choice of colours. Just some of the shots just notable from that shot as well. He's played the yellow off there. He's just let one or two of the balls run loose, I feel, especially the cue ball at times, and from good positions he's let the frames slip away early on. You know, this 6-3 score line probably isn't reflecting the match that well. I think Steve's had quite a few chances and just hasn't taken them all. Some shots like that where you cut him, when you're letting the cue ball travel such distances, that's when things can go wrong. It really is. Not sure if Steve played the shot like that. He's left himself a bit hampered cueing, but certainly all the yellows do look accessible. Yeah, so it's just a little bit awkward cueing on this shot, but certainly this could be frame ball, because all the other yellows look like they're in good position. So he's just been a little unlucky that he's left himself bridging over the red, in fact so badly that he's decided to play this, because he's got a big pocket down here, by the way, so he feels he can't really miss this shot. But the problem is this ball, when you've got balls moving around the table, well, he's okay, it's held up just in time for him, so the one just above the black as we look will pop. He's letting balls move around the table, and of course it's nice when they work for you, but of course that's when problems can occur. It all depends on what angle he has on this yellow. He obviously has some angle. If he can just run through and cannon into the black full ball, that would probably be okay, but the way he's looking, I'm not sure that's the case. The yellow that's nearest to us, near the spot, that would probably have been the ball he wanted to be on, because when you roll that in, the others both go in the opposite corner, and that would have been easier. So he's going to have to go a different route. So now he's had to play that shot slightly differently, and the problem was he was never going to get straight on this yellow in the middle. That's why I said if he could just run through and collide into the black slowly, he would be ideal on both yellows, but now he isn't. Yet again, he's just lost position. You've got an angle, so your white ball is going to be coming the wrong way for the yellow. Now, has he got enough to stun back into the black? No, it's decided to go south of the black, so that leaves a cut back in. Now this is still going to be okay as long as the white doesn't find its way into a pocket here. It's going to come round the angles. It's all about the cue ball. Now then, that's pretty good. I have to say that's pretty good. He has gone somewhat the scenic route here, but he has found his way to a frame winning shot. And there we go. That's 6 frames to 4. He's hanging in there. go, big break coming up. Oh, and the white has come to his rescue. I think the only problem is here, because where the yellows are in relation to the black ball, he may feel that yellows are a stronger suit. I'm not saying that's the case. Of course, if he does take reds, he's on the reds. Now, I can only imagine there he was actually trying to get that red in front of the yellow over the pocket and just hasn't played it well. I'm presuming that's what's happened. So Martin's on the yellow, so of course now he can put this yellow in front of the red in the pocket, and that gives him control of the frame now. So yellow's in a much stronger position than the red's here. I think Martin's just trying to decide what is the best way to attack this bottom right hand corner. So he's just trying to get this side of that yellow. Can cut this yellow over to the left hand pocket. The only thing here is probably going to be cannoning into the red and the yellow that's near the pocket, which is all well and good as long as you get the pot. So he needs to be a little bit careful, needs the pot really. Okay, here we go. Okay, well he's held his hand up there because he realises, not to say sorry so much, you're just acknowledging you've just been a little bit fortunate because he's played to pot that yellow and develop the other yellow, and as you can see, if he'd have potted it, he'd have actually been in a lot of trouble there, and he's been very fortunate it stayed over the pocket. Steve was trying to cut that red in, but cannon a red over to this corner at the same time. Hasn't quite happened. I'm just wondering if Martin's thinking about playing the combination shot here. Yellow onto yellow, bottom left. Try and come in the other side of the bad yellow near the black. That's probably an option here. Of course, you can't have put in all your eggs into one basket really. If you go, I still think he's coming back to this shot. I think he's given it some thought. See, now he's thrown his cue at that a bit and took a chance, and he hasn't been rewarded. It's actually putting me in a bit of trouble now in this frame. That yellow going safe. not sure what he was going to be doing with his next shot. He's tried to pot that yellow. Whether he thinks he could have got that yellow in front of the red over the pocket there, I'm not sure. Big opportunity now for Steve here in this frame. I'd be playing this slightly cushion first here. Cush first, pot the red. If you get the red in, then you've got a nice angle. Yeah, that's how he's played it. Hasn't got it quite right, but he's happy with that. Go on slightly cush first, and if that ball drops in, you can still continue if you finish. If it sticks in the pocket, you're still in a strong position. Well, he's got a couple of options, and none of them are very good. It's hard to stop Steve having a good chance to clear in this frame. I mean, he could play the DF this corner, he could play yellow onto the red, clip it really thin, but what's going to happen is Steve brings his bad red out and he's still got the finish anyway. Okay, I'm not really sure. Well, let's see what shot he's going to be playing here. Just going to clip off it and pot the red. Yeah, he's clipping off it to pot the red. Same situation really. He didn't have many options. He's not really put Steve under any pressure here. He's just trying to stop him clearing up, or make it as hard as possible for him to clear up. So he's left Steve the long red, which he's missed. Okay, so half of his plans worked, but Steve's still in a good position on reds. Long way up with that pot. I think he was just going to then just bring his bad red into play. So this is what Martin wanted. He wanted another chance to come back to the table to do some damage, and he's got that opportunity here. He needs to get a yellow down there where them reds are. That's what he's looking at. Is it going to be that yellow? Do I cut that down to the pocket? Another shot he could do is full length double this other yellow, but of course you lose your accuracy because you're just doubling it off a cushion. You're guessing somewhat. At least if you're cutting that ball over, you're pretty certain where it's going to be. That's what he's looking at. I think that's what we're going to be playing. No, we're not going to be playing that shot. Right, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what we was doing here. I can only imagine that he thinks that the yellow in the centre of the table will go off the cushion, off the red, into the corner, and then just try and develop everything. So he needed to be straight in on this yellow. He needed to miss the clip on the red. The yellow he's just potted, he needed to miss the clip on the red, and because he's clipped it, he's lost the cue ball. So he needed to be straight in on this yellow, so he could be straight on the next yellow. All complicated stuff, but he felt that was his best option. To be honest, I didn't. I think I'd have played the other yellow down into the gap there. Just kept my opponent under some pressure. It's about percentages sometimes, I think, in these situations. You know, going gun-ho for your shots all the time doesn't work. Sometimes it does. If you play percentages more than often, you'll get rewarded at some point. At least that's my theory. That's a pretty decent shot from there, to be honest. Got the yellow over the pocket, and because he's got two reds up here, you know, it does give you a bit of a foothold. Now Steve will probably realise what he's up to, trying to obviously play this yellow in the middle of the table off the reds, so he needs to try and keep him off that. How, I don't know, but if you recognise that's what your opponent's up to, we're just going for the double here. Yep. So now he's actually left the white in a place where Martin can play the shot off the yellow off the reds, and he's still got his yellow over the top pocket, so really that's not where you want to leave the cue ball. So a very difficult shot, you're cutting it back and it's a tight gap, but when your back's against the wall sometimes in a frame, that's what you've got to try and do. I mean, even if you get this shot right, there's still no guarantee you're going to come out with a shot, a realistic shot, on the bad yellow that is. Now he's thinking about cutting the yellow in the middle and playing the cannon. That's what he was looking at there. None of them are guaranteed. What is the situations that he's thinking about? None of them are guaranteed at all. Because to miss the red and get a connection on the yellow and bring the yellow into play, you're relying on quite a bit of luck. Yeah, I think this is the better way. He's now thinking about playing it down. He hasn't played it particularly well. Steve will be quite happy to see that yellow go on top of the red like that. That gives him the chance just to bring his bad red down the table, probably just double it down the table, I would have thought. Yeah. In certain situations, I think when you're having a tactical game, and in a tactical game, usually one person is in the prime position and one of you is just defending. If you're defending, you've got to put your opponent under as much pressure as you can. You really have. Don't give him nothing. And if you do that in a lot of your frames, now and again, you'll get rewarded. And it is only now and again. But if it buys you a frame here and there, it's worth doing. Result. So we have our first quarter-final result in the Savanna Masters. That is Lee Walker defeating Graham Whitten by 9 frames to 5. I think just watching this particular frame, it makes you realise that you're never dead in a frame of pool, because there's been a stage here where yellows have had control and then reds have had control, and if you just kind of play certain shots, certain tactical shots, you just give yourself a chance and a lifeline. And it's like there again, look, so Steve's gone into that, now he's tied the black up. Always try and keep yourself in a frame and give yourself a chance. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does, and in the long run it will pay off for you with that philosophy. Now in the Andy Lucas match, Andy was 5-4 down, he's now 7-5 up. Andy Lucas 7-5 up on Chris Hatton. Steve's played a nice little shot there. Got good position, can move the black out of this shot. Needs to miss the first yellow. He didn't do that. Needed to miss the first yellow. Still okay though. Set-up shot required. Well, it's okay. It's not ideal. You still fancy him to pot the black, but let's face it, it's not a gimme. And he has missed it. He has missed it. It wasn't a gimme. The setup shot wasn't good enough, and obviously it was a situation that kind of got worse and worse as he went along there. When he went ideal, when he knocked the ball on top of the black, it all went wrong from there. And just like I said before, this goes to show you're never dead in a frame. Now, how straight is he on this black? On the yellow, past the black rather. Can he just roll it in, or does he have to go hard at this? It's very nicely played. So it's off the cushion, off the black. Brings the black into play. And that will be a 7-4 lead. Well, it's 8-4 now. I popped away for 2 minutes and they've had a quick frame. Well, I think Steve will feel that he's thrown away some chances in this game. I think sometimes, you know, when you've played a match and you evaluate it later on, you'll realise you've had chances and not taken them. Sometimes you'll play a match and you'll know you've really not had any, not crystal clear ones. But Steve has had some good ones, and I mean the frame before the last there, you got 2 visits at the end, and you got 2 visits down to the black. I know the black had gone safe, but with 2 visits really, you should be winning them kind of frames. And it can just change. Obviously he played well against Tommy to beat him. He was down on the match and came back and very well to win it. So after that, maybe there is an expectancy that you'll do well, and you've got past a good player, and you've got to play another good player, but at least you're on a higher, so to speak. And I think he'll feel disappointed in this match to have good chances and not take them. I mean, just look at that shot again. It's just he's not hit it hard enough. He's not hit it the right accuracy. He's left the ball in the middle of the back cushion. He's left Martin on this red. He doesn't even have to go and do anything stupid here. Martin really is in such a good position on reds. Just decided to split everything up. Give Steve a bit of a chance here, really. I suppose that the yellow tied up here with the 3 reds, maybe he feels that he's not going to get on that anyway. And that's a foul 2 visits. Playing a bit, what's the word we'd look for? Cavalier, shall we say? Trying to force the issue. Maybe mentally give it up. As an opponent, you'll read that a little bit as well. So just be on your guard. That they're just kind of going to have a little go at everything. Can make certain players a little bit dangerous, that. So it looks to me like he's just going to roll this red into the middle, or maybe he's not actually. The way he's queuing it, he's playing it down table. Okay. Yes, I suppose because he's got the big pocket for the black on the rail, he just wanted to split them up down the table here. Make sure he's got an angle on this red, so he can screw back for the one on this cushion. And if he gets this shot right, and he hasn't, he's I was going to say he decelerated on the shot, but it wasn't that really. I think he just hasn't hit it. He hasn't gone through with the cue properly. Just hasn't hit it. I think maybe he was frightened, the angle he was screwing back. Maybe he was frightened that the white ball was travelling towards the middle pocket, and you're trying to underhit your shot slightly so it doesn't go that far. And then what you end up doing is underhitting it completely. I think that's probably what he did there. Well, he's missed that by a ways as well, and all of a sudden, look at these yellows for Steve Singh. From a situation, this is what I was saying about Martin, be on your guard. Don't ever take things for granted. Because your opponent has switched into a different mode, you mustn't switch from yours. So, Steve Singh, you've got a great opportunity here to get yourself another frame, and always say you never know. He was 4-0 down the Tommy Donlan, remember, in the last match, and he won that match. So He may be 4 frames behind here, but this match is never over. Never. Now I don't think this black will pass the reds, so he needed to leave a little angle here so he can get down for the black. That's it, that's pretty good. Just make sure you pop this ball in the middle now. And there we go. So that is going to be 8 frames to 5. As I said, he was 4-0 down in his last match and came back to win it. There's no reason he can't do it the same again. Right, score updates. As we know, Lee Walker has won. Now we have Chris Hatton pulling a frame back against Andy Lucas. So Andy Lucas leads that match by 7 frames to 6. And in the Fudge Fest on the other table, it is now 2-1 for Ian Davenport over Nathan Beavers. That match will conclude tonight. Okay, so back to our match table. It's 8 frames to 5 for Martin Hazell. Okay, this is exactly what Steve wanted. A dry break. It is so important for Steve to clear up from here because really in the last frame he'd given up. He's been given the frame and now he's been given this opportunity. The reds look very nice indeed. This is where you have to stay mentally strong. You really do. He's got a great opportunity here. In fact, looking at it, there's actually nothing difficult at all. Probably the red by the top cushion here is probably his only hard ball. All the rest are actually very nicely placed. So take your time, mentally strong. I remember saying in the early parts of the match I thought Steve played his match a bit loose. That he let the cue ball run around and some of the object balls run around, and because he did that I think it cost him quite a few frames. You just cannot do it at this level. So it's time to tighten your game up. Even here he's really, after 3 shots he shouldn't have been in this position. And he's not even close with that. After 3 shots he was out of position. That really was a big opportunity there. I think if he gets back to 8-6, you know, you've still a good chance. This isn't the hardest table you're going to come up against, but it's just given the situation. You know, you're 1 frame from home, you've messed up the last frame, you've been given a chance here in this frame, and you really kind of feel like you've got to take it. That's how we'll be feeling at the moment. Big opportunity. Okay, it's not ideal, but he's still okay. Would rather have been straight in on this yellow, to be honest. that's because of the last positional shot. It really is. And I'm telling you what now, the way he has left this white, he's given Steve a great chance because he can get down on his bad red straight away. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, because he's got the red tied up near the left middle as well, but they all pot. What a chance. He probably thought he was out now. This is it, another chance. Can he take it? Could have done with a little bit more angle here. Looks a little bit straight in. You could probably make a little angle. Couple of options. Yes, of course he can play the red off the yellow into the middle. I just think that's a bit hard to play from here to get on it. Yeah, I think he's done right. As I said, he was a little bit straight in on this. If he could have got this white ball into the table a bit more, it would have helped. He's going to have to play this with a bit of pace now. No, nowhere near. Nowhere near. He needed to be completely south of that red. Nowhere near hard enough. Well, Martin will be relieved with this because this was going to be heading to 8-6. He'll be relieved. He's got no shot on the red at all. Okay, well, let's see what he's got in mind. Well, that certainly moved things around a little bit. I'm not really sure what his intentions were in that shot. Maybe it was just to move things around a little bit. But of course he didn't. He did leave himself with nothing, and well, your percentage, your win vis are down to about 2% here. Right, he's just going to play the easy containing shot now. Just play up the table. That's all you've got to do. He's made this as awkward as he can for Steve. 2 rails, total snooker. 2 rails with side, but it's hard because he's queuing over. Yeah, he's missed it. That he's actually bent the white ball because he's queuing over the top of the white. It's like you're playing a swerve shot, so you've got to allow for that. And what he's done, he's just caught the knuckle there. It's swerved it and caught the knuckle. He hasn't allowed for it. Yes, you've got to do that. It's a very difficult shot. Okay, so 2 visits for Martin. Get the red out of the way. Move the red out of the way. And he's played it terribly. He meant to move that red out of the way completely, and he hasn't. He's clipped it and left it near the pocket. The excitement is too much. Got a few options. Obviously, you can play the long yellow onto the yellow over the pocket. He's got a yellow into the middle. So he might still fancy the finish here. Doesn't have to go. Got good safety options all round. Okay, so there's the long shot. Now I imagine he's going to try and play the yellow off the cushion, off the red. If he can get the red away from the pocket and pot the ball, it should be game over. And that's it, that's perfect. That should really be it. Well, it has been a match with a few mistakes from both players, but Martin Hayes was this simple black to move into the semi-finals. And there we go, a 9-5 win. We'll be back shortly with another match. It will be the semi-finals of the Savanna Masters, and we'll speak to you later. Bye bye.